we have more stories to tell. And another story that we've been doing, I feel like this, it's kind of like, just talk about cliffhangers. We had a cliffhanger of that Blade story, which not a great season finale, it seems like. And now we have another update on the story we've been talking about forever, and that's this Superman story. The judge, he rules on a co-creator's bid to reclaim the foreign copyrights. Will the reboot release without issue? What a teaser by Comic Book Movie. Mark Cassidy, as promotion for James Gunn's Superman continues to heat up ahead of the DCU reboot summer release, studio recently ran into a potentially major setback. Now we got an update. Back in January, we learned that Warner Brothers and James Gunn's Superman may have run into a potentially major roadblock on its journey to the big screen when Mark Peary, the nephew of the late Superman co-creator Joe Shuster, filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery DC Studios DC Comics. Peary claimed that the studio lacks the rights to release the DCU reboot in a handful of key territories, including Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia. The matter has to do with foreign copyrights to the original Superman character and the story, though Siegel and Shuster assigned worldwide rights to DC's predecessor in 1938. The copyright laws of countries with the British legal tradition contain provisions automatically terminating such assignments 25 years after an author's death, vesting in the Shuster estate the co-author's undivided copyright interest in such countries. The studio noted that the courts have repeatedly rejected Perry's claims, finding that his mother, Jean Peavy, signed away all the rights to the Superman character after Shuster's death in 1992. However, the estate's lawyer, Mark Toberoff, argued that in the overseas territories, copyright assignments automatically terminate 25 years after the author's death. Had the suit been successful, it could have interfered with the movie's release this July, but it doesn't look like this is going to be an issue. Following Warner Brothers filing a motion to dismiss in March, Bloomberg is reporting that a federal judge has rejected the estate's bid to reclaim the foreign copyrights, citing lack of jurisdiction over the case. Superman's overseas rollout was probably never in any real danger of being impacted, but it's nice to have confirmation that release will go ahead without issues. Okay. I still haven't watched that behind the scenes footage, and I think because I missed it that day and I was going to, you guys were covering, I don't think you guys covered it on the show. I'm not sure. Did you?
Oh, we discussed it. We didn't show it or anything. We talked about it.
Okay. But I haven't seen it yet, but I'm getting more hyped for it every little piece that comes out. And this is something I think we all kind of knew was coming. It was going to be tough for them to beat Warner Brothers inside of this type of thing. And they didn't really have much of a case, if you ask me. But Coy, obviously, I think that you're going to be torn on this one.
All right, let's talk about Stitch Fix. I know shopping's hard. I know it is. I found a much better way to do it, though. Stitch Fix, online personal styling, and makes it so easy. I'm not a shopping person. It doesn't matter. Even if I can figure out my size, stores never seem to really have what I need in stock. Then I'm not a crowds person. I'm not a lines person. I don't have the time for it. Stitch Fix, it gets you a stylist who understands your style, understands the size, gets the budget. They do all the shopping for you. So I just give my stylist the one that I have right now. I give them the size, I give them the style, I give the budget preferences. I order boxes when I want, how I want, no subscription required. And he just sends me for pieces, pluses, outfit recommendations, styling tips. It's awesome. I keep what works, and then I send back the rest. It's very easy. There's no stores, there's no crowds, there's no stress. Just personalized looks that you're going to love. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. And it looks like you know what you're doing, too. If you're walking around, you go, hey, look at you. You're in style. I said, I know, right? And then I give Stitch Fix some props. Anyway, make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/KHS. One more time, stitchfix.com/KHS.
I'm so distraught at the thing happening that we all knew was going to happen. I think, my cousin's nephew's dog walker owes me some money. It's tricky because I'm team, like, a creator should always have more rights than they seem to, but these weren't the creators. They were
right.
related to, and the problem becomes when it's like the fifth or sixth time in
someone trying to make a buck.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate when in the 40s they weren't credited, or late 30s, early 40s, like there was not credit given to a level that could have been, like with Batman and Superman and lots of characters that era. But this isn't that era, and these aren't those people. So it's I don't want to seem unsympathetic, but at the same time, it doesn't seem fair to raise a stink every movie looking for, pennies on the dollar from a thing that wasn't yours and isn't yours. So I think that they've been working on making the credit more proper. We've seen in the last 10 years, Bill Finger get more credit on Batman. I think that we've done, justice to a legacy, but at the same time, if this is every movie, there's got to be a point where it's just not the courtroom's time to waste.
What do you think, Winston? What do you make of the same type of thing?
I mean, I think that Coy kind of hit the nail on the head, and I think the main thing to look at here is there disrespect being thrown at, the legacy of the creators. It doesn't sound like that's the case. It sounds like, I would love to know more about this nephew that's trying to do this, but it sounds like he's like, I have a way to go get money.
Yeah,
that's ultimately what this sounds like. I haven't heard anything about this is how Warner Brothers has disrespected their legacy or it in my family's face or try to tear the character down. As this has come out, this just feels like I want Superman money because somebody related to did some shit.
100, dude. It seems like a bunch of people were sitting around drinking wine, and this guy goes, "You know what I was doing the other day?" It's like, "What were you doing?" "I was going through the contract. Superman. Why are we doing that?" "I was bored. I'm a lawyer." "Oh yeah." And we might be able to sue Warner Brothers. Really? How? Well, they say that after 25 years, if someone dies, we can do it. It doesn't really cover it. There is kind of like some red tape here, so we could just be a bunch of dicks and sue them and see what we get, and say like, "Hey, you're not doing us proud here. You guys went over here and you did that, but this doesn't actually cover here, and you're manipulating." And really, we'll just sue the shit out of them, throw our fingers in the air, cross our fingers, and see what we can get. And I feel like that's what happened. I said, fuck it, let's do it. And that's what they did, and it didn't work out.
That's 1,000% what this feels like, and it's kind of infuriating because there are actual people that have had like I think of so many musicians where they don't know any better. They know better now, but like they don't know any better. And then like obviously they get the record deal, which means they get an advance, but then their masters are owned by those labels forever, and they're not making any money off of their artistry and no deal to kind of set it up where they can try and get something back. It's not what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this genuinely just feels like an asshole being an asshole.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So apparently it happens all the time. So I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys make of all this? Do you think that they were slighted, or the judge should have ruled in their favor, or is like, no, it seems like what we're saying here. I know that nobody really wants to have a root for the studios or say, hey, the studios won this one. All right. But it's like, it feels like they should have won this one. Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. We appreciate it. Before we move on, I got to tell you guys a story because I know you get a kick out of little Maisie. My little one is pretty much like Joe Pesci. I've told this. I was driving her gymnastics class last week, and it was right. It was like the day before Easter. So we're driving by this place, and I don't know if it wasn't a church, but it was somewhere where they were celebrating for Easter. And they had a guy dressed. It was like 87 degrees out, by the way.
Okay.
And there was a guy dressed in a Roman soldier outfit, like just standing there, like in the blazing sun. And I go to my 7-year-old, "Macy, look at that." Thinking, 7-year-old's going to see a guy in a costume because it was a pretty elaborate costume. And, "Macy, take a look at that." She goes, "That guy's a lunatic." And I go, "Why is he a lunatic?" And she goes, "You know how hot it is right now? What's that guy doing standing out there? He's a lunatic." And then she goes, "And he's not getting paid enough." And I was like, that was incredible. And then the other thing, we bust each other's chops sometimes, and I'll play around with her, and she goes, and I go, "Your breath stinks," and she goes, "You're ugly," and I go, "You look just like me." She goes, "Yeah, but I'm the better looking version."
Mafioso.
She really is,
dude. She is something else, man.
She is. Anyway, little story for you guys, and sometimes people like it. If you don't, stick your head up your ass.